Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Now celebrating 17 years of broadcasting success, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. But for those joining us on the radio dial here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad you all could be with us. Also, those joining us online around the world, thanks to our friends at iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Podcast, we're glad you all could be with us as well. One of the things we've already been telling you guys about in the busy month of June is a big event that's taking place on June 25th, that being the Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame. Had a great conversation with our friend Janice McLean Deloach on the program, talking about how it all came about, but also giving us an idea of some of these noteworthy female songwriters that are being honored. One of them is joining us today. I'm so excited to welcome, for the very first time here on Conversations Live, actress and songwriter Dawnn Lewis. Many people have gotten to know her, I know I did, as Jaleesa from the hit show A Different World, but she also co-wrote the theme song for that show. So we're going to talk to Dawnn not only about her amazing career, but also what it's been like for her to do work that she loves, to be able to be recognized for that work, and then we'll give you guys the details about the Hall of Fame Awards and how you guys can be able to see it for yourself. Dawnn, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, Cyrus. I'm happy to be here.
Well, look, this is a real honor. I mean, it's the first time we've had you on the program, and you are one of those people that, you know, individuals love, for one thing, because we're still able to watch A Different World, you know, thanks to cable, right, on television. But also that theme song is something that has really taken on a life of its own. So what has that been like for you, Dawnn, to reflect on not only the career you've had in front of the camera, but also how your words continue to impact people?
Thank you very much for that. I mean, between A Different World and any number of the other shows that I've been on during my career that I'm incredibly grateful for, you just never know why people have become attached to you, whether it's Major Crimes or iZombie or anything like that along the way. Yeah. But when I started my career, I've been performing since I was a child, singing, dancing, and acting since before I was a teenager. So that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a performer. I particularly wanted to be a writer. So I had been writing and performing jingles even while I was in college. I was a session singer. I was doing shows off Broadway and on Broadway. I was doing a national tour of a Broadway show, The Tap Dance Kid, with Hinton Battle, legendary Harold Nicholas of the Nicholas Brothers, and someone who's now grown into his own right as an amazing performer is Mr. Dule Hill, was our kid when he was 10. And Dule still dances and sings to this day. So I had a record contract. Had a single out. I was charting on Billboard. And then this opportunity for the Cosby spinoff came up. So the person who did the music contacted me because he knew me as a singer-songwriter and asked me to write the theme song. He said, this is the premise of the show. Let me see what you got. If you're the same person that wrote these other songs, and I think you're going to be perfect. The people who cast the Broadway tour I was doing also cast the Cosby Show. So after begging them for 3 months to be allowed to audition for the show, they finally said yes. And all this happened within the same 10 days. So they hired me to be the co-star of the show with Lisa and Marissa and write the theme song, and had no idea that they had hired the same person to do both jobs until after they had hired me. The people who negotiated that contract for me, I didn't have an agent at the time, didn't have a lawyer. I was just out of college. They had written one of the textbooks I studied in college, This Business of Music. Short of the long story is I met with them, and they offered to negotiate my songwriting contract, which gave me 50% writer's royalties, which was unheard of, screen credit, and a number of other things, which was unheard of for a first-time TV theme songwriter, and they refused to allow me to pay them. And that's when I first learned the phrase, pay it forward. Of when you get an opportunity to do something good for someone in need who can't necessarily do it for themselves, just step up and do it because it's the right thing to do. And that's how I've been living ever since. So ever since then, I've written and recorded for a number of the movies I've been in or TV series, a few Disney films, several TV series, a couple of feature films, as well as for different recording artists like Grover Washington Jr. and Nancy Wilson, and a number of other people. and just continuing to move forward in acting. When COVID hit, I was doing the Tina Turner musical on Broadway, playing Zelma Bullock, Tina's mom, and I do about a dozen different animated series. And just a couple of weeks ago, I guest starred alongside Angela Bassett in the great series 911. So it just doesn't stop. It hasn't stopped. And so it's just been, for me, just one blessing after the other, and doing what I can to return the blessing towards others as I move along.
Yeah. Dawnn, you said a couple things there I definitely hope our audience really picked up on. For one, it really goes to the heart of something that we talk about a lot on this show. Creators just create. And even though a lot of times people may have been introduced to you, like as I mentioned, I was introduced to you as Jaleesa from A Different World, we have been able to see you bring to life, either on camera or by voice, these different characters for sure. Is that also part of what keeps it fun for you, that you do get to slip into the skin of so many different types of characters through your career?
Oh, absolutely, especially doing voiceover work. I get to play old men, little boys, people from different countries and careers, and robots and zombies and all kinds of things. Right now, I'm doing Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego for Netflix, and for Fox, one of the series that I do voices for just started premiering. It's called Housebroken on Fox, the one with all the pets out of control. I do voices for that. I've been doing The Simpsons for years. And recently, the animated series I do, Star Trek Lower Decks, we were just nominated for 2 NAACP Image Awards, one for Best Animated Series, and I was really honored to receive one for Best Animated Voice Actor. So it just keeps thriving, and playing a captain or playing a child or playing a dog or whatever, and being able to do it all. I'm grateful, and people show up. But A Different World does seem to be a favorite that 30 some odd years later people can't. It's either that or I'm going to get you, sucker. People want to ask me, am I having cramps? You still having cramps? Or want to call me Jaleesa. It's been beautiful, but it's like, come with me, folks. Come with me to where I am now, please.
Right. And then too, I noticed when I was prepping for this, being seen, that's the great thing about the world, kind of opening back up, being part of the rich and the ruthless. I think about, that kind of being part of a new chapter now with it getting a new life actually on the network. I think, there's so many great things. So for you then, as you kind of look at your career then, Dawnn, it seems like you just love the work. The accolades and things come with that, but you enjoy the work. When you found out that you were going to be recognized at the first Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame Awards, what was that experience like for you to know you were going to be recognized that way?
I was over the moon, first of all. I was absolutely over the moon, because just 2 days before, I had gotten some disappointing news. We had shot a pilot for a new TV series, and we had just found out that it was not going to get picked up. So I was kind of disappointed about that. And then 48 hours later, I got a call from Janice saying that I was being inducted. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? Huh? And then she told me who else was being inducted, and then I thought maybe this is a mistake, because you're inducting Roberta Flack, Valerie Simpson, Denise Williams, Naomi Judd, Beryl Howard, Climax. The list just went on. Mary Chapin, Carpenter. I was like, okay, no, seriously, you meant to call Dawnn Lewis? Really? And she said, absolutely. And I am just absolutely over the moon. And to your point, I write music because that's what I do. That's what's in my spirit. That's what's in my soul. I wouldn't know what else to do with all of what's inside of me if I wasn't writing and continuing to write and tell stories. But to then turn around and to be honored this way, and particularly among such an amazing and prestigious group of legendary writers that have helped, create our soundtrack over decades, it's just incredible to me. I couldn't be more honored. I really couldn't.
Yeah. Well, it is something I know that is so well deserved. I mentioned to you before we went on the show here live, Dawn, that I had a great conversation with Janice on this program recently, and she was singing your praise not only because of what you've done in your career, but for what you're doing now. Because one of the things that she wanted to do with the Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame Awards is not only to be able to recognize you all and your extraordinary talent and your contribution, but also provide services for those who are coming up through the ranks. And she named you, by name, and she said that you were one of those people who stepped up and said, I want to do this. And so I want to ask you this, because so many people, and we live in a time, Dawn, where people are just trying to make it themselves. Why has it been so important for you, though, to make sure that you are sowing seeds and giving back along the way?
Well, like I said, in my first big break, I had gotten lots of little breaks being supported by my teachers or counselors or, neighbors, quote-unquote aunts and uncles, people who took me under their wing, who helped lift me out of where I was in my environment, where you're not supposed to aspire to be anything great or magical or anything beyond your environment. When you grow up in an environment like Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, you're not supposed to aspire to be on television or, do music or any of those kinds of things. But people took the time to speak positivity into me. So I was doing the best I could to do the best I could. And then I got the opportunity and to have those attorneys who make thousands of dollars an hour to tell me they were willing to help me for free because they saw that I wanted to do the right thing the right way. There was no way that just wasn't deposited in me to be willing to do that for someone else. So I have a nonprofit organization called the A New Day Foundation, which is a double thing. It's a play on my name, Dawn. But also the mission of the foundation is that where you were yesterday is not where you have to be, nor where you need to end up tomorrow. So we want to be your new day of opportunity toward your best self and your best opportunities. So I called up Janice and asked her if all the tables for the event had been sold, and she said, no, there's a couple left. And I said, well, I want to buy one through my foundation because this is what I want to do, and I need your help to do it. I asked her if she would please reach out to high schools there in the D.C. area as well as colleges to see if she can find any up-and-coming women songwriters. And if she can, particularly if they are in high school just graduating, going into college majoring in music composition, or if they're in college majoring in music composition, I want to find at least 3 young ladies that we can invite to the gala. So I'm buying a table for them and a guest to sit at the gala, and I also want to give them a $2,000 scholarship toward their studies and advancing their possibilities in the areas of songwriting. And we'll likely give them also a piece of equipment to assist them with their songwriting. So that way they get to be in the room. They get to be in the room with these women that they are aspiring not only to be, but to surpass in their accomplishments and in their opportunities to score films or TV shows or write the next hit record or whatever it is. I think it's important for them to be in the room. I think it's important for them to see that it is possible. It's difficult because women songwriters, like women in a lot of different professions, are not necessarily included or sought out or recognized for their contributions. But it's time we start. So I want to do whatever I can to help. So Janice thought it was a great idea, and off we went. So the search has begun.
Wow. What a great thing, Dawn. And that is just one of the reasons why people love you, not only because of your talent, but also your passion. I should mention, I'm so glad you brought up the foundation, you have a virtual event that's taking place this month as well, so we're going to definitely ask you, her audience can be a part of that, but I want to just quickly remind them again of the event taking place on June 25th. Again, the first Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame Awards. This is an event you don't want to miss there in Washington, D.C. You can not only attend the event in person, but also virtually as well. So head over to the website, womensongwritershalloffame.org. Again, that's womensongwritershalloffame.org. For those who are joining us online, we'll make sure that we link that up for you guys as well. But definitely make sure you guys are a part of this amazing event of these 10 female songwriters who've been able to make an impact and are definitely being recognized as they deserve. And, Dawnn, I mentioned for you, too, with all that's going on with you, how can our audience stay connected with you and the work that the foundation is doing?
Well, I am on social media as well as my Facebook page, and my name is Dawnn, DAWNN Lewis. On Facebook, I'm the Dawnn Lewis official fan page. On Twitter and Instagram, it's Dawnn, DAWNN _Lewis. And then for the foundation, it's www.anewdayfoundation.net. And Cyrus, thank you for mentioning, yes, in the midst of preparing for the induction ceremony, my foundation, we do an annual conference every year, primarily geared toward high school juniors and seniors and college freshmen and sophomores, that 4-year demographic, where we do a days-long workshop in financial literacy and technology. We also have wellness workshops and motivation activation workshops, and we give out at least 8 scholarships of $2,000 each to a graduating senior who's been enrolled in college. The money goes to the college where you are enrolled. And we also have academic achievement awards for high school juniors. So that's taking place for the first time virtually on Saturday, June 19th. You can go to the website to register. Again, that's anewdayfoundation.net. The link there to register for the event is there. If for whatever reason you have any trouble finding that, just send the office an email at info, I-N-F-O, anewdayfoundation.net, and we'll get you directed to the registration site. And you see all the qualifications to register for a scholarship if you qualify for that. But because it's virtual, we can now have young people register from all across the country, not just in the one place where we happen to be located on that college campus that year. So we're excited about the event. So thank you.
Hey, definitely more great work for you. Dawnn, thank you again for this time. I really appreciate you stopping by, and it goes without saying, if there's any announcements or anything you want to share, you're welcome back here anytime.
Cyrus, I really appreciate that. Thank you for your support, and thank you for doing your part to help get the word out about these awesome events, these inspiring events, because bad news surrounds us everywhere. But to be able to have an outlet that is, pushing forward positivity and accomplishment and community and cooperation, that's just fantastic. So I salute you as well. Thank you.
Hey, appreciate that for sure. I want to thank our friends at Double Exposure Media Relations for setting up this conversation with us for today, and thank all of you, our audience, for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying, as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Now let's go make today amazing. Take care.